Welcome back to another episode of Lost in the Farmer's Market Garden Shorts. Today's plant of interest is not the irises you see in front of you, but the things growing out of them. I'm talking about milkweed. Now this variety is Asclepias curasivica, which is a different type of milkweed. Now I know what you're thinking. Why are you talking about a weed? It's in the name. It's a milkweed. I see these things and I spray them with herbicide. Stop doing that, dummy. Milkweeds are actually a vitally important plant, despite what you think of them. Yes, they produce a lot of seeds, and under the right conditions they can get out of control. What can't? I'm talking about you, bee bomb. Yeah. Anyway, here's why I like them. The first reason is easy enough to understand. Over here is that. Asclepias tuberosa, and look at all the pollinators just crawling all over it. Look at that bee. Oh, look at that. Yeah. There's another little one and a hoverfly, and they produce copious amounts of nectar, which is a win for the pollinator community. They are also one of the plants that attract butterflies, which is a win for the pollinator community. They're a hardy, deciduous perennial. They die back to the ground in winter, and they take care of themselves once they're established. The catch is that they have a very deep taproot, so once you plant them, you should not move them. They stay where you leave them. Their seed are viable, and you can easily harvest the seed pods later on and do the do. I have some more for you. And they come in a staggering variety of types and shapes. Now, some of these ones I'm about to show you are not in bloom. That is a milkweed. That is also a curasivica, which is sometimes called the swamp milkweed. This is another of the same, next to the coneflowers from a prior episode. And here's the one I always use as an example. It is definitely orange, definitely fluffy. Ooh, it's not in the bed. Well, there's a story behind that, but let me show you this in here. See this wispy stuff? That is world milkweed. It takes a while to establish, but it has white flowers. I've been waiting 2 years for that to happen, but we'll get to that later. This milkweed, Asclepias tuberosa, actually was originally in this bed at one point when this bed was triangular shaped. And then I thought it died. Whoopsie on my part. It disappeared in the middle of summer and I thought it had died. I grew this from seed that was harvested from a plant in Montclair, New Jersey. I'm originally from New Jersey, so you can tell probably by my accent, maybe. This one has come up in this spot every year, and sometimes little shoots pop up in the bed, and it comes back with religious fervor. There are a few things that I can count on in the world: death, taxes, politicians being ridiculous, and this milkweed comes back every year in this spot. And it gets a little bushier every year. I try to feed it a little bit. Now, that gets into care and stuff for milkweeds. Milkweeds don't require much, but they do better when they get regular irrigation and reasonable fertilizer. It doesn't have to be a special blend. It can be something... Oh, look at that pollinator. Oh, I scared him off. Well, I tried. They don't need special fertilizer. A simple... Even a tomato fertilizer would be fine. It doesn't have to be specific. They prefer good soil, but they'll take bad soil, especially once established. Once planted, do not transplant. Their deep taproots reach deep down for nutrients and moisture, which is how they survive being dormant and how they survive drought. I want to say they're a native plant, but I'm not 100% sure all varieties are native necessarily speaking. Even if they're not, they've become native. They're found all over the place. They're different varieties. In fact, let's go over to the other bed to show you the naughty version of this plant. Yeah, you heard that right, folks. I said naughty. These plants are dirty. This. Technically not a milkweed. Its scientific name is very different. This variety is called hairy balls. Oh, look at that. It's Mr. Rabbit. What's up, Mr. Rabbit? What are you doing? You just nibbling? Yeah, you eat them weeds. Okay, I'm not going to bother my friend here. This one's called Hairy Balls, and this particular variety has large, round seed pods that are shaped like, you guessed it, hairy balls. It's, very, very interesting. Now, this variety can go invasive. It is said to be from Africa, so it's a related species. It's technically a milkweed or distantly related to milkweed, but not an Asclepias. It's an interesting variety that I've been selling at the market just to surprise people. This is no different than when I was selling the red Peter peppers. Mostly people giggled and like, hey, that pepper's shaped like a... And then, cut to a different scene in Austin Powers. Now, again, much like milkweeds, it's not too particular on where it's growing. It's not too particular on watering or anything else. But the more the better the soil, the better. Now, milkweeds in general are never going to be a picturesque straight plant with a set form. They're always going to be kind of wispy and going wherever they want to. And, the flower heads are always going to be heavier than most of the stalk, causing it to lean in a direction. They're not cone flowers. And they're definitely not those giant mission marigolds behind them. They're going to do what they want to do because they're still very much a weed. That means their seed may come up in inappropriate places in the garden, which means you may have to do weed control or snip the pods off before they actually get a chance to do anything. They do require some maintenance, but once they're established, you will have scores of pollinators coming to your garden. They'll hit up your milkweed and anything else along the way. This is a win for you. I always urge them that you plant these because milkweeds are one of the primary nectar plants for monarch butterflies and swallowtail butterflies. A close second might be lantana or really tall hibiscus or anything like that. I do recommend you consider these for your garden, and I think that covers the topic. So, like, subscribe, leave comments if you want to. Let me know if you like this video, and as always, folks, keep them growing.